5.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events most of all. Thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest.
Welcome back.
I don't know if I want to go there too far with this, because I remember the theme of that or the bottom underlying tone of that TV show.
Yes.
I don't know. Disruption. I don't know. Do we call you Blake Vartanian or Vinny?
Just don't call me Arnold Horse.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Just caught it.
There you go. Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100 is in the house. Welcome.
Thank you, Ron. Pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. Hey, let's take a look and see what we can celebrate today, because I thought I saw some pretty interesting celebrations today. And before we get started, forgive me. Oh, no, it's today's National Forgiveness Day. Okay. I know I'll never make it as a comedian. Crush a Can Day. I don't even want to think about where we could go with that one. National Scarf Day. The only type of scarf I do is if it comes to eating, and it's called scarfing, I think, at that point. National Family Day. Okay, I like that one. Chocolate Milk Day. We can go there. And I think the one that I would have to go with very seriously, because I am a connoisseur here, and I do a lot of quality control situations to see where it's good and what's bad. Today is National Corned Beef Hash Day. Where do you get the best corned beef hash? Used to be, for me, it's not any longer, Louise's Pantry out in the Coachella Valley. They used to make the greatest corned beef hash. That used to be really, really good. Now I'm going to have to keep on hunting for some good corned beef hash. Let's look and see what the markets are doing. It may not be a good day in the markets, but there is a divergence, right? The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 153 points. S&P is down 10.5. NASDAQ down 104 points right now. Well, we know why that is. It's because of interest rates going sky high. They have been taking a big jump in the last 3 or 4 trading sessions. We know why. Well, inflation is the archenemy of bonds. And you've got a federal government looking at spending $3.5 trillion by some estimates. Could be $5 trillion by some other estimates. But if you listen to the president, and that would be kind of scary if you believe what he has. It's a shame that I have to say this, but it is the truth, right? So you listen to the president and you listen to the administration, and according to the Washington Post, or the New York Post, not the Washington Post, they kiss his feet. So these are just Friday's lies from the White House, according to the Washington Post. Lie number 1, the southern border is closed. Lie number 2, Border Patrol agents on horseback whipped Haitian migrants. Yeah, but they don't even carry whips, so I don't know how that happens. Those are called split reins, for those of you that don't understand that. Number 3, we will not leave. We will not leave Afghanistan until every American is evacuated. Number 4, the drone attacks on August 29th in Kabul was a righteous strike on ISIS-K terrorists. These are all from Friday. Now, we already heard from all kinds of administration people that was a family with kids. Number 5, Hunter Biden's laptop is Russian disinformation. Well, that's been refuted by the intelligence. Sorry, Miss Psaki, you're missing it. I think she's had too much sake. I just shouldn't say that. Number 6, the cost of the Democrats' $3.5 trillion social welfare bill is $0. 6 lies, all from Friday. Now, I'll bring that back home right here and just tell you that the market is saying, okay, well, we're going to spend $3.5 to $6.5 trillion. Nancy Pelosi says she's not going to bring the vote up until she has the votes. She pushed it back from today till Thursday. I wonder what that should be telling us. But the bond market is saying, you know something, we're not excited about this. So we're now seeing that the 10-year Treasury is up to 1.48. Now, it's still a low number, but 1.48 compared to where we've been, that's the 10-year Treasury. That's saying that the bond market does not think it's paid for, does not think that this is rational. They think that it is going to cause inflation. That's why the bonds go up like that, or actually the yield goes up. The bonds are going down. That's the way it works. Whenever the bonds go down, yield goes up. It's always an inverse relationship. But as we watch these things taking place, and you're looking to see if you're in this world or this environment, which I am, right? The 10-year Treasury over the last 4 or 5 trading sessions, yeah, it's gone from where we thought it may be looking in the pretty seriously low numbers. We might be getting down to maybe touch 1% again. Well, now we're looking at it. It's at we're going to probably go to 1.6 in the next few days. That's really what we're going to be looking at. Is we're going to 1.6 probably in the next few days on the 10-year Treasury. Now, why is that important to a home and mortgage connection radio program? Well, because we're watching all these things for you because interest rates are going up. It's just all we can tell you now. We also heard from the Federal Reserve last week, which is another fascinating story. Because if you remember the middle of last week, I told you about the Federal Reserve president from Boston, President Rosengren, and maybe a little corruption there at the Federal Reserve. Mr. Rosengren doing 37 multi-million-dollar trades in mortgage-backed securities, and he has a vote on how much of the way of mortgage-backed securities are being bought by the Federal Reserve. Well, all of a sudden, he said that he's retiring. Now, does anybody get surprised about that?
Surprise, surprise.
He says it's for health reasons. I think it's called stress because the alligators are right up to his behind. Should be. My opinion is that somebody who's on the Federal Reserve, a member of the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee, and is a voting member, inside information, making trades for his own personal account for something that he has oversight and control of. Yeah, that's to me, I don't know. I've seen people, or we've all seen people who have gone to jail for less than that, but here they say it's not illegal. Unbelievable. But we keep on watching. And we got some interesting other stories that have come up in the news today that I will share with you. Take a look and see just a couple of them, because we're going to expand on them with Blake Vartanian in a little bit. But here's the issue of a couple of these stories. Are you a California homeowner? Well, if you're a California homeowner, there's some interesting story that just came out today, and or I just saw it today. I don't know whether it just came out today. So nationally, there is $2.9 trillion in home equity gained over the last year. $2.9 trillion home equity gained over the last year. Well, right here in California, because our home prices are a bit higher than other parts of the country. Ready for this one for the last year? $116,000 in gain in home equity in California. Now, if you haven't taken advantage of this, I can understand, because you probably don't follow the things as closely as I do, right? I mean, you probably have a life. You're doing things day to day. And, this is just something that I do. I do a little radio show here 5-6 times a week. So we are talking about that. We're always watching these numbers so we can bring them to you. We can share the information with you. Average homeowner since the second quarter of 2020, this is a national number, up $51,000 in home equity. Now, that's not just your net worth, because your net worth also takes into account the amount that you've paid down on your mortgage. But here's the issue. If you did as I've been telling you for the last 10 years, get in the game. However it is to get in the game, right? If you need to do an FHA loan, so be it. If you need to do mortgage insurance, don't have a problem with that. A lot of people have a problem with mortgage insurance. Not me. But here's the issue. If you did it and you have your head in the sand, that's the problem, right? Because if you got a home loan with mortgage insurance in the last year in Southern California, or anywhere in the sound of my voice for that matter, the likelihood is you could call right now, 800-306-1990, talk to one of our loan officers, and get rid of that mortgage insurance, right? Restructure your home loan, get rid of the mortgage insurance. There are strategies where you continue making the exact same payment, bring down your home loan, so you can do a little bit more of some of the things that Blake and I are going to chat about in the next segment. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we've got a featured home brought to you by my favorite lender.net. If I could find the other stories I want to talk to you about, I'll share those with you as well. If you're a buyer, is asking price enough? We'll find out about that. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva, they've got the programs and the products, bank statement loans, debt consolidation. Big thing in the fourth quarter. Almost every year we see a lot of folks that are saying a couple of things. They want to consolidate their debts, and probably within the next week or two, we'll be at a point when you can actually refinance your home loan and not have any payments until the first of the year. How do you like that idea with the holidays coming up, not having any home loan payment? But the Dow Jones right now, as we get into the report, up 162 points. NASDAQ is down 95 points. S&P 500 down 12. 10-year Treasuries up 2 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities, they are down 17 basis points. Why? Well, new orders increased by 1.8%, which was, durable goods, I should tell you, reflects new orders placed with domestic manufacturers for delivery of factory hard goods was released for the month of August. New orders increased by 1.8%, which is above expectations of 0.6%. Transportation increased by 0.2%, which was below the 0.4 estimate. Core capital goods increased by 0.5%, exceeding expectations on that one. Let's see what else is going on here. We've got the GDP numbers are coming out later in the week. I told you already about Mr. Rosengren and him taking a leap, not before he made a boatload of money, I'm sure. And the bonds, well, they're getting close to some strategic technical numbers. I'm not going to get into all the technical issues here because it would probably bore you. If you ever want to get that education or into that conversation, give me a call. Again, 800-306-1990. Be happy to chat with you about the bonds, what the bonds are showing, and where we are heading. But hey, let's chat with our friend Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100 in the house. I think I said $116,000 in equity in the year over year.
That's a lot of money.
What do you think about that? I mean, is that it's a significant number? Is it too big a number? Is it cause you any worries?
Well, sustainability of appreciation is an important factor for potential investors. People, thinking, is this the point at which the trajectory starts to go backwards and maybe the market even slides backwards in the terms of valuations? But I have a different take on it because of what's just happened in the state of California with SB 9. And we can get into that or choose to defer it to another time. But I think we may actually be at the beginning of a next wave of a massive boom in certain types of property in Southern California or beyond throughout California. Not every property, but certain properties. I think properties that are sitting on, if you're a homeowner who has a developed property with a small dwelling on it, but you have lots of land the valuation.
Are those
of your
around
property.
anymore, Blake?
Well, there are, in a lot of the communities that are historically 40, 50, 60 years old. Some of those homes might be 1,800 square feet, sitting on a 10 or 15,000 square foot lot, depending on what the residential zoning was in the communities in a lot of the cities of Southern California. I drove down West Street in Anaheim as an example and saw a lot of homes that were, beautifully kept, maintained, but from an investor standpoint, they now probably are much more desirable.
That's an interesting concept, but now the question becomes if they're well kept, well maintained, is there any correlation to that being an owner occupied versus an investment property?
Well, I mean, I've seen it both ways. I've seen pride of ownership not exist among homeowners, and I've seen rental properties that were very well maintained. But it often does correlate to someone who's an absentee owner who hasn't paid attention to their property, living out of state. They may not have seen their property in years and years, maybe even decades, and it might not be maintained to the rest of the neighborhood. And there's no homeowners association to force people to, maintain the front facade of their house, the yard, etc. But I think the real question comes down to there's a lot of curiosity around what is happening with the changes that the state assembly and state senate and the governor actually signed. And we're going to find out over the coming days and weeks. And I think the people who act on it sooner will be the biggest winners. Even though there's a risk calculation involved, I think that the probability of winning is always diminished once the masses get involved.
Sure.
So if you could go back and buy Bitcoin when it first started and it seemed like a long shot, even if you jumped off the train long before it got to this point, you could have made a lot of money. It's a lot harder to make money with it now.
It's a lot riskier.
A lot riskier, right?
I mean, we want to.
Right.
Yep. And we're not telling you whether you should or shouldn't buy Bitcoin.
No.
We're just using it as an example.
Yeah, just about the point at which you would jump into an investment, and there was massive risk involved in undertaking, being a pioneer in anything.
That's the whole thing right there, is being the pioneer.
Yeah.
Right. When you're the first in, I mean, how many years did Amazon lose money?
Yeah.
And people looked at it and said, "Wow, this guy is nuts."
Right.
And now look at him. Don't you wish you were in with that nut back then?
Yeah, because
right. I mean, it's
even a 10-year horizon. The time's going to go by, and how much could you have exponentially grown your investment if even with those years that you had zero return? How much would you have made now if you had bought those at the original stock price?
Exactly. And I think that's with the early adopters in a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
You end up the one that, I look at it and say the thing that you've been evangelizing since you've been coming on the broadcast with me is the concept of taking money from your real estate, your equity, and deploying that in more real estate. And think about that, because I'm sure you've been coming on more than a year now.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Right? And we just showed that in California, that would mean, $116,000 in equity, or right around on average, $116,000. That if somebody can't listen to you a year ago or more, when you first started sharing on this broadcast, at least, hey, pull some money out of your property and buy another one, maybe $116,000 further ahead.
Well, and I can give you a real life example of a comp that just closed in my neighborhood for $1,150,000.
It's got a nice neighborhood,
right? But a year and a half ago, the comp was $850,000.
Wow!
So you have approximately a $300,000 gross gain in 18 months. Because of where that property's positioned, probably close to, a desirable high school where people want to be. Certainly when we bought it, there was no high school. There was nothing like that.
Sure.
But it's driving the valuations of the area because people, it's always location. So,
right.
So when I go back to, why are some people's properties going to appreciate more than others because of SB 9? Well, if you have a condo and you're living in a condo, that's great that you have the condo, but you're not going to be able to do anything with that with regard to SB9.
Sure.
You're not going to be able to take
cut it in half.
Take a portion of your common area property that you own as a percentage of that and develop it. You have to own it you have to own it outright.
There's been a lot of questions though, Blake. I'm wondering about with SB9 is, can I buy something today and subdivide it or break it up tomorrow? And there's a lot of these, and I just had an attorney at one of my meetings last Friday, and he basically said, well, the property could not have been leased out in the last 3 years.
There are conditions upon that.
Exactly. So the key there is if you have a single family residence and you want more information about SB9, does it affect you? How can you take advantage of it? Well, give us a call at 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with Blake and his team. And I think you got an event coming up. You're going to talk about it at your event?
Yes, we will on October 13th. Thank you for bringing that up, Ron. 4:00 at our offices here in Orange, our corporate office.
I think we've got a short code for it. We'll double check. Text RP100 to 79564. Maybe during the break, Josh can check that for us. But text RP100 79564. I think it goes to an event page on Blake's site. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we've got a featured home brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. And if you're a buyer, is offering asking price enough? We'll talk about that. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments, paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. SLT Home Digest, 79564. Find that dream home before somebody else does. So here's our thought of the day. Let's see if you're a buyer. Is offering asking price enough? That's the question. In today's real estate market, buyers shouldn't shop for a home with the expectation they'll be able to negotiate a lower sales price. In a typical housing market, buyers try to determine how much less than the asking price they can offer and still get the home. From there, the buyer and seller typically negotiate and agree on a revised price somewhere in the middle. Things are different today, not quite the same as they used to be. Today's housing market is anything but normal, according to the National Association of Realtors. Homes today are, one, receiving an average of 3.8 offers and two, selling in just 17 days. Homes selling quickly and receiving multiple offers highlights how competitive the housing market is right now. This is due in large part to the low supply of homes for sale. Low supply, high demand means homes often sell for more than the asking price. In some cases, they sell for a lot more. Selma Hepp, Deputy Chief Economist at CoreLogic, explains how these stats can impact buyers. Quote, the imbalance between robust demand and dismal availability of for-sale homes has led to a continual bidding over asking prices, which reached record levels in recent months. Now, almost 6 in 10 homes listed are selling over the ask price, unquote. You may need to rethink how you look at a home's asking price. What does that mean for you if you found your dream home? You need to be realistic about today's housing market and how that impacts the offer you'll make. Offering below or even at a home's asking price may not cut it. In today's market, the highest bidder often wins the home. Much like at an auction currently, the asking price is often the floor of the negotiation rather than the ceiling. If you really love a home, it may ultimately sell for more than the sellers are asking. That's important to keep in mind as you work with your agent to craft an offer. Understand an appraisal gap can happen. You know that we have our appraisal gap program. And if you want to find more information about the appraisal gap program, just text RSR appraisal gap to 79564 or visit rsrappraisalgap.com. Because of today's home price appreciation in the auction-like atmosphere in the selling process, appraisal gaps, the gap between the price of your contract and the appraisal for the house, are more frequent. According to data from CoreLogic, quote, beginning in January 2020, nationally, 7% of purchase transactions had a contract price above the appraisal, but by May 2021, the frequency had increased to 19% of purchase transactions, unquote. When this happens, your lender won't loan you more than the home's appraised value, and the seller may ask you to make up the difference out of pocket. Buyers in today's market need to be prepared for this possibility. Yeah, we've got that covered for you. Know your budget, know what you can afford, and work with a trusted advisor who can offer expert advice along the way. Bottom line, bidding wars and today's auction-like atmosphere mean buyers need to rethink how they look at the asking price of a home. Give me a call at 800-306-1990 if you have questions about this. This is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find that dream home before someone else does. Appraisal gaps. So, Blake, is there a time in the cycle that you see that to be more of an issue? I mean, I know as the market starts heating up, we see that the prices are going to sell more and the appraisals don't catch up. Do you see that happening more now, or is it less now? Or where in the cycle do you see where we are?
You know what? We still see it happening, and it's something that I've been involved in a couple of transactional solutions over the last couple of weeks, where the appraisals came in reasonably under the agreed upon purchase price, and the parties had to figure out between. In one case, there was a price reduction, and the buyer put in additional cash to be able to close it. And without getting into the specifics of that proprietary negotiation, there was a solution reached, but there was a point at which it looked like the deal might fall through, because it's interesting that the perception of the buyer's opinion changes from their euphoria of getting the transaction and tying the property up at that price and believing the value is there. And then when a third party comes along with the credentials and says, your property's not worth that much, you're paying too much, each person reacts differently. Some people don't care, they just want the property, and other people want to use it as leverage, even if they have the money, to say, well, I'm overpaying, I no longer want it. Well, you knew you were overpaying the minute you started bidding up the price.
Overpaying or paying to get what you want?
Yeah, that's the question. See, because I always go back to, if there's one of a kind and it's only going to be available once in the next 30 years.
Which every piece of real estate is one of a kind.
Exactly.
Right.
And so
even a tract home is each individual piece, each individual lot is unique, even in a tract home.
I will tell you, through the course of my 40 years in the business, that I have heard, I wish I had bought that, a lot more than I've heard, I'm glad I didn't buy that.
Right. So the question then becomes, do professional real estate agents educate their buyers ahead of time so that you don't run into that issue? So you don't have that sticker shock or concern. If you educate somebody up front and say, something, we're in a market that if you want to get this, I don't know, let's say a $1 million or $1 million house, and you're going to be willing to pay $1.1 million for it. If you really want that house, we're going to have to go to $1.1 million, and it may not appraise, but here's our solution if it doesn't.
Yeah, it's better to know that up front. And there are people who are out there negotiating what I would call less than good faith. I'm not going to say it's bad faith, but it's less than good faith, in that they are intentionally putting out a price with the idea that they're going to cram down on the seller and press the seller once the appraisal comes in low, because they believe that the appraisal will come in low, and they're going to work to use that as leverage, because now the seller no longer has those potential pool of buyers waiting to bid the price back up again. If the price falls out, if the property falls out, the price usually, oftentimes, when you come back on the market, that is ultimately achieved is less than that first euphoria price where it got driven up, because the same buyers don't come back, and they always question, well, why did the house fall out of escrow? So we have a situation right now where we had a buyer who wanted to buy a piece of property, and it actually pended 3 times before our buyer ultimately got it.
What does that mean, pended?
It went with a buyer into escrow. Great question. And ultimately what happened is, for one reason or another, it fell out 3 times, fell out of escrow, and the seller ultimately agreed to sell it to our seller at a much lower price than they had received from previous offers. So there's about a $30,000 adjustment as you went through each sale. Each time it went into escrow, it went in just a little bit lower than the previous time.
Which is a fascinating comment, because I think you might agree with me, Blake, that home builders have a good handle on what's going on in the marketplace.
Yes.
One of the big home builders, and I forgot the name, it escapes me, I can find out. One of the big home builders decided that they're not going to sell their property. They're going to build property, but they're not going to put them on the market until after the drywall is in. Mm-hmm. And then they changed their mind again and said they're going to rent them for the next year. They're not going to even put them on the market. To me, that's saying that they think the property values are going to go up, and they're going to put it in their own inventory, rent it out for a year, because they think they can get more for the property a year from now than today.
They certainly wouldn't be doing that if they thought values were going to drop.
Right. They'd want to get it off their books as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so to me, that's saying that, and somebody that's an expert in the industry is saying values are still going to keep going up.
And I think that, the real question is, if these were highly leveraged purchases that we were dealing with, then it becomes suspect that we might be running out of steam. But so many of these purchases have hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not all cash purchases. We're still seeing a lot of money flowing into these purchases.
Which I saw the other day, cash purchases are up 50%.
Yeah, and so when you look across the spectrum from the different asset classes, how much cash is available. And I think the evidence of inflation is everywhere. You go out to eat, it costs you so much more. I give my son $30 to go out to get his lunch now, to buy a pizza and he's maybe pocketing a few dollars of it. but the reality is, most of us grew up $2.50 or $3 or $4 was a lot of money to have in your pocket as a kid. And
make your own lunch, kid.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And so the cost of eating out is super easy to spend $100 for two people. And it's not uncommon to spend more just for what used to be a $25 or $50 meal.
Yeah, everything is going up. And the only place that I think that inflation is not an issue is inside the White House, where they don't spend any money. They don't, or they spend our money, not theirs. Right. So I think if we look at the gas stations, if we look at any place that we have to go, right? I mean, I hate to share this information, but I will. Right. I mean, you look at right now, cost of a gallon of gasoline on average in California, $4.40 a gallon. Right. I didn't share that earlier, but Josh, you're at $3.91, and our tremendous underwriter Lori, you're at $2.89. So don't we all want to move to Louisiana?
I was going to say, where's
you're right. I mean, don't we all want to be in Louisiana? Because even Hawaii is $4.06 a gallon. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we've got a featured home brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Our house in the middle of our street.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey friends, do you dream of mortgage-free home ownership? Are you aware that even if you own your home free and clear, it could still be costing you thousands per year? The Siegel Lending Team can help you generate tax-free income, accumulate family wealth, and maintain ownership of your home. By simply emailing your most recent mortgage statement, you'll receive a no-obligation real estate plan. Learn more by calling 1-800-306-1990 or email me your recent mortgage statement to PEAR@RonSiegelRadio.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The featured home segment today being brought to you by myfavoritelender.net, myfavoritelender.net. Blake, I think you may know this featured home that we've got here today. Oh, yeah. It's 1801 East Catella Avenue, number 3102 in Anaheim. It's a bedroom and a bathroom. That's good to always have in a home, a bedroom and a bathroom. Oh, it has more. It's the Stadium Lofts, contemporary resort living at its best in the highly desirable Platinum Triangle. Beautiful 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 9-foot ceiling, sliding glass doors to the balcony, views of the beautiful manicured courtyard. Kitchen has stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, white cabinets, breakfast bar. Oh, can't we just have a bar? Do we have to have breakfast there? It's open to living area, making it perfect for entertaining. The unit also features newer carpet and laminate flooring with a full-size washer and dryer and a walk-in closet. Hey, this one's brought to you by Jennifer Zagarella, Realty Pro 100. So you probably know this one. If you want information on it, give me a call, 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with Jennifer. List price, $430,000. Let's see if we've got any financing options for you here. Well, let's see. If you put 10% down, you're looking at $1,658 a month. If you put 20% down, $1,474 a month. If you put 25% down strategically, you're looking at $1,317 a month. That's principal and interest payments only. Yes, if there are any mortgage insurance, you have to add that. The HOA, at insurance, and taxes all have to be added. But hey, that's a pretty amazing number right there, right near a lot of public transportation, a lot of business right there. You might be able to walk to work. Nice looking piece of property. Some great pictures if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv or any of our socials. Hey, before I go too far, I know those compliance people listen to us. So if you're keeping score, that's a 3.367 APR, a 3.206 APR, and a 2.993 APR, NMLS 217037. Again, featured home brought to you by Jennifer Zagarella, 1801 East Catella Avenue, number 3102. That's Anaheim. So just remember, one of the beauties of Anaheim, not that I'm a public relations or public information officer for Anaheim, the utilities are lower in Anaheim than most other cities in Orange County. And when they've got the rolling blackouts, well, Anaheim tends to still have their own power because most people don't realize Anaheim has its own power plants. And one of the power plants is actually just sits idle for backup power. So good place if you're contemplating especially if you're thinking about working at home. Right? One of the things that you have to consider when you're working at home is what happens when the power goes out. So think about that concept. And if you want more information, again, give me a call at 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with Jen so you can take a look at this property. That's the featured home brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. Continuing our conversation, Blake Vartanian is in the house, Realty Pro 100. Chatting. So before the break, we did, or before I think in the B block, we talked a little bit about an event that you've got coming up, Blake. And if you text RP100, use capitals. I don't know why the lowercase didn't work, but capital R, capital P100. You can text that to 79564, and it goes right to the event page for Realty Pro. And it talks on here a little bit. October 13th,
Yes.
4 to 5 in the afternoon. What are we going to learn if we show up?
So you're going to learn the secrets to growing your wealth through real estate investment strategies that have been proven through the decades. And so it's not a sales presentation, it's an educational event so that nobody walks out of there feeling pressured, feeling like they're, being sold something they're not interested in. It's to the contrary. Everyone who comes, with only one person that we've done the presentation to has actually said to me, I'm going to stay in the stock market after seeing this presentation. I don't want to invest in real estate because I don't believe in it as a real investment. And it always confounds me when somebody says that, because
They don't see it as a real investment.
yeah, and
I can understand if somebody says it's not for me.
Yeah, I understand that. And
But if it's not a real investment, what does that mean?
I don't know. And so when I hear something like that, I think, okay, you're everyone's entitled to make their own choices and have, and that's the beauty of how we live. The freedom of choice is so essential. But the idea that somebody would look at real estate and not see it as an investment opportunity, I just can't. I can't see it from that same perspective, but I understand that they have their opinion and they're welcome to it.
You're welcome to your own opinion, but maybe not your own facts.
Well, that's
right.
Yeah, because
now let's see. Look at it now. Just to give you an idea here, I just shared with you that real estate is up $116,000 in California year over year, and if we look at the stock market, same day, I think today's the 27th of September. So August 27th, the stock market was at 35,399. Call it 35,400. Today it's at 34,000. So it's at 35.4. Today it's at 34.9, down about 1%.
Yeah, so it's kind of trading in a range.
So does that mean the stock market's not a real investment? I'm going to suggest that the vast majority of your 401ks are down in the last month.
I would agree.
Right? Because when you see everybody's got Apple stock, everybody in your 401k, whether you know it, you may not know what you're invested in. Most of us don't, but Apple stock is down. Microsoft is down. Again, these are volatile numbers. So one of the things you have to really look at is, what is your stomach for risk? So when you go and do the presentation, Blake, are you talking about the risk levels that people are going to be looking at?
We do talk about risk, and we show real life examples of investment opportunities that are available in the Southern California market area with cash on cash returns. So in other words, if you put this much money of your own into it, you borrow X number of dollars, this is what the scenario will look like in our projections of your return on the investment.
Okay, Blake, I'm way too simple for what you're saying.
Well,
okay,
I'm
so
working on it.
let's you invest $100,000,
right?
Which means you could probably buy let's just say a $500,000 property.
Okay.
And the property in Orange County goes up 5%. That's $25,000.
Yes.
So cash on cash return is a 25% return on cash, right? From that example.
Yes.
We don't know what's going to happen. We can't promise anything. We're just saying that if you take $100,000, buy a $500,000 property, which we just talked to you about, our featured home was $430,000, and it goes up 5%, which is a historic number for Orange County, right? So we're looking at $25,000 appreciation on a $100,000 investment is 25% return on your cash.
Yes,
that's a pretty good number.
I find it far better than buying a 10-year treasury.
And now let's throw the rule of 72 on that, Blake. All right, so the rule of 72 says that If you take your return divided by 72, that's going to give you how long it takes to double your money. So this roughly means you double your money every 3 years. Not exactly, but roughly. Right? I mean, what else can you do to double your money every 3 years? So let's throw that into an equation, Blake. So we say 25,000 doubled in 3 years is 50,000. Doubled in 3 years is 100,000, and we're only 9 years out.
Exactly.
Do you have a way of saving that much money? Just throw that question out there. Can you save $100,000 over the next 9 years? The answer in our country is basically no. Just go right to capital R, capital P 100, the numerals, RP100 to 79564. Get the information on the event coming up and come over and I'll be there. Come say hello. Even if you don't want to listen to what Blake has to say, come and say hello to me. You got an hour. I'll be there before and after saying hello to folks. We might even have some giveaways there. Come over and just say hello and visit us at Realty Pro. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Sean and Josh for engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.